Good evening, everybody. I'm here with Moises, Rodrigues, candidate for mayor of Brockton. So Rodrigues. All right. So first of all, so every time that I'm sitting with someone, I always ask them the first question. So who is Rodrigues?
Well, I am someone who was born in Cape Verde. I'm actually an immigrant to this country. I was born in Cape Verde, but I grew up in Angola. I went to Angola when I was about 7 years old, and then came to America as a teenager. I was 16 years old when I came to the U.S. with my parents, and I've been here for 40-something years, 47 years, mostly in the city of Brockton. I went to the high school here, graduated from high school here as a teenager when I came.
Brockton High School?
Brockton High School.
Okay.
Went on to college, joined the military. I served 6 years in the United States Navy as well. And I've been here, fighting for our communities, plural, for a good 30 plus years now that we've been involved. Our fight continues because it's been, Freddie and I were just talking about this a little while ago, that the new immigrants actually have it a lot easier than what we came to back in the days when we came.
I can imagine.
There was no bilingual program as you see nowadays. There was none of these community organizations that you see every day. Everything was a struggle. We had to struggle for everything that we had, and above that, we had language issues. We had the issues that you hear nowadays, but we had it all without any help on the side. Very few places had Creole speaking types. Every place was basically designed for Spanish speakers or English speakers. But as far as the two Creoles, we didn't get any of that. You went to the hospital, you struggled on your own. You went to the banks, you struggled on your own. You went anywhere that you want to, you struggle on your own to make it. I wish we had a place like this when I was growing up. I think I could have been something a little different in the sense, but we didn't have any of that. And that's why, I, Freddie, and some of these other individuals in the community, we fight for whatever we can give our people, because we know what the pain and the suffering is. I became the interpreter of the house at a very young age. When you're taking your mother to the doctors, because there is no interpreters at the hospitals, you have to go down and ask. The doctors are asking your mother some personal issues, and here you are turning to your mother. Does this hurt when you have a sexual intercourse with your husband?
Oh boy!
How do you say that to your mother? But that's how it was, and it was a struggle for a lot of us for a long time. And that's why we want to give back to the community, and that's what I've been doing. For the last 30, 40 years that I've been working.
Okay, so before we go into deep personal stuff, let me just step into the community center that I'm here right now. We know, me myself, I always complain that my community, we don't really have that. So recently, I think that to that guy who have the idea, and then finally the city give them a space so that they can have a community center. It's in downtown. And then I invite you to, when you become a mayor, you can go there, and Fred can take you out there. You can see the Asian culture. So this center you have here, is it only for the Caribbean people, or it's for the community itself?
The idea of the association was born in 1977 by some people that you see in the pictures behind me there, that were the founding fathers, you might want to call it, back in the days. That the idea of the association was born in 1977, and it was born out of frustration, where you couldn't take English classes to learn English. You couldn't get citizenship preparation classes anywhere because there was nothing to be done. But it started out in the basement of the people. It was not a building. We bought this building in 1999.
1999?
Yeah. Once we bought the building, we bought it with our own money.
Well, hold on here. You say you bought it, so that means it's
community owned.
It's community owned.
Community owned.
That's good.
Free of charge nowadays, because we don't own a mortgage.
So we don't have any mortgage in here.
No mortgage.
I'm looking for a space to stay.
Even the house next door is also part of this building. So we actually have a 3-family up there that we rent, and it helps pay for some of the expenses in here as well. But we bought that. We put together a campaign to fundraise to be able to buy this building, because we wanted to have a place that that the new arrivals could actually call home. And so in 2012, we came back as the place started to grow with more staff. We decided to turn it into the Cape Verdean Association / the Immigrant Assistance Center of Greater Brockton.
Okay, but what is the main service that you guys offer here in this center?
Well, we take care of little kids through the summer programs that we do with 5-year-olds to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-olds to senior citizens.
Oh, wow.
You know, anything in between. You know, we provide, as I said, English classes to basically the gamut of immigrant communities, Cape Verdeans, Haitians, Brazilians, Mexican, Ecuadorians, Venezuelans, Guatemalans, you name it, they come.
I know there was a crisis. I think it was like 3 years ago or 4 years ago. There was like a bunch of Haitian that come from under the bridge, come here to immigrate. So do you guys receive some?
We still see them. We still see them because we have employees in here who are Haitian speaking. Okay. We have Haitians in our board. So our board is diversified to a point where we have Brazilians on the board, Haitians on the board, and also Cape Verdeans and actually even a white guy.
Okay.
You know, because we wanted to make sure that it shows the immigration side of things, not just the Cape Verdean side of things.
So that means you have a lot of Asians in here.
Oh, every day you see 10, 12 people walking in because we help people with the English classes that I've mentioned. We also have, you know, the citizenship classes that we're beginning again, but we do help people with rental assistance. Okay. We provide assistance with RAP.
Do you guys receive money from the city or?
Well, we look for funding. We look for funding through foundations, through the state, city not much, but through the state, through the federal government in some instances. But then we have, you know, these partnerships with organizations that we do the work for them and they reimburse us for it.
Okay, great. All right, so now
computer classes is another one that we actually gave out. You know, little computers like the one you see right behind you there. Okay. We had this. I think we're over 200 computer classes in the last year or so that we bring the people in for 15-hour class, and at the end of the class they get a brand new computer and they get internet for a whole year. And believe it or not, more than half of that total has been to the Haitian community.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Because the girl that actually does the class, she's very aggressive in doing that stuff, and I'm like. And they hold events in here. They hold, you know, classes that have nothing to do with the association. They just need space. They use it both here downstairs. And to me, it's a pleasure to know that my people are using it. And when I say my people, I'm saying plural again. Peoples. You know, that's how I see it because the Haitian struggle is the same as the Cape Verdean struggle, except that you know your Creole is from French base and mine is from the Portuguese base. So we're in the same ball game, you know.
Why make you want to switch that? You want to become the mayor of Brockton?
Well, I've been a city council for 12 years here in the city, so I've been involved in politics, and the reason why I got involved in politics is based on the fact that people say, you know, you can't complain about the problem if you're not willing to roll up your sleeve and take care of the problem.
Okay.
So I feel that, you know, it's important for us to have a voice within. And I've been in the city council, like I said, for 12 years. I've been elected to the council president a couple times. I've been the chair of various committees within the city council. I had the honor of serving as the mayor for 7 months when Mayor Carpenter died. You know, I was the acting mayor or the interim mayor, so I've been there. You know, and it's actually interesting because of the 8 people running for mayor in this city, the only person that knows what the inside of the mayor's office looks like is me. Okay. You know, in terms of you know, dealing with that, I had a lot of issues that, you know, because Carpenter died suddenly.
Do you feel like as a former acting mayor, do you feel like you did your best when you was?
I thought I did a very good job. There were some things that I think if I was not the mayor at the time, we wouldn't have been able to do it. And I'll give you an example: the settlement of the lawsuits that we had in the city. We had a $45 million lawsuit that was going to bankrupt this city, and I was able to settle it for $4.5 million. You know, so 10% of $45 million. But there were no intentions of settling that lawsuit, so the powers to be wanted to continue that for a long time.
Okay.
You know, diversifying the boards. And one of the other things that I think I feel pretty proud of is the fact that the whole marijuana situation that came to be here in the city, they gave out licenses to 10 white owners of these marijuana places, and not a single minority, you know, a black person. You know, so I felt that was totally unfair. So when I got there, because I was the mayor, I was able to open that process up and open it up to 4 additional black people, which they would have never had that opportunity had I not been there. Because it's not like it continued after I left. You know, it basically, the 4 that went in, it was the 4 that ended there. That was it.
Let me get into this. Like as you mentioned, marijuana, and I know there are some kids, some black kids that went to jail just because they were smoking marijuana and stuff, and that go to their record. So right now it's legal. As a mayor, so those people, I know it's affect them. So what you will do to make sure that people get back into the system so that they can have a job?
Well, I can't really do anything about the legal system because that's above my pay grade. You know, that has to do with the state and the Justice Department. What I can tell you is that I can be an advocate.
Yes. Because
I advocate for these people, for our people all the time, to say, how can you hold Peter, Paul, Fred in jail because he smoked pot or he did something with pot, and now I'm here and it's legal for me and there's no consequences for it. You know, so as an advocate is that we need to advocate continuously for programs that actually kind of look beyond that. Don't point the finger at my guy because he smoked pot prior to it become legal, but now that it's legal, it's okay for your guys to do it. You know, so treat my people.
I think that if it's legal right now, the people that are in jail for that
they should be cleared up.
They should be cleared up.
They should be cleared up.
Automatically.
Right. But that law has to be passed at the state level. That it's not something that we do locally. Because we don't have that power as a city to basically kind of implement state law. All we can do is put in regulations that deal with city issues, but not state law. The state law still still is above local law, and the federal law is above the state law. So we basically have to abide by those 2 forces, both the federal and the state law, when we're dealing with this issue. But we need to be advocates for it to make sure that we advocate.
You are a city councilor for 12 years, right?
Completing my 12 year this year.
So actually, you're not.
You're done.
Okay, you're done. So now, as a former city councilor.
Well, I'm still a councilor.
Okay.
I'm still a councilor. I'll be done at the end of at the end of this year.
As a councilor for 12 years. So can you mention like 3 things that you done that benefit directly our communities? I'm not saying our community. I'm not talking about the Asian community. I'm talking about the communities that you represent.
I think one of the things that I'm very proud of is that from day one, I instilled diversity within City Hall. You know, and basically insisted that our people have a fair shot. One, in getting jobs, the nice paying jobs that exist within the city. Brockton has the 3rd best paid police department in the state. The 3rd best paid fire department in the state. The 3rd best paid teachers in the state. But we're not the bulk of the workers within those departments. So our job has been, what can we do to make sure that the black and brown boys and girls are getting those nice paying jobs? You know, so instilling diversity and the need to diversify the workforce, not just the residency, not just the residents, the work to get the benefits from working within it. The fact that I personally and constantly speak for the immigrant community, defending the interest of the immigrant community within the city. Because if you look around, where they are leaving, we are coming in. But it's important for them to understand that we bring resources, we bring a better quality of life in some instances to the people in the city, so that they understand that we're not the boogeyman, you know, the immigrant scary people coming in. Because all we're doing is looking for the same things that the Irish had looked for, the Italians had looked for. Now it's just the Cape Verdeans and the Haitians. So we just need to make sure that is outspoken and that is out in the forefront. One of the other things, the last thing I could say is that I've been a stout defender of taxation, because I believe that in the city, the difference between, I know Fred's not going to like this because I say commercial taxes. The difference between commercial tax, not the amount of taxation, but commercial taxes and the residential taxes, is that residents are responsible for about 73% of the total taxes in the city, where the commercial is only responsible for 20-something percent. So we need to bring that commercial up a little bit so we can lower the threshold, so that the residents are not paying as much taxes to run the city. Not that we're going to charge more. Not that we're going to not going to charge more to the business. We want more businesses to come in to help us basically bring that balance up.
Now, okay. All right. So as you know,
because if I say we're increasing taxes to the business, is going to.
But I think it's for me. Well, it's would be fair if we can kind of make it ways it up, because a citizen, they pay a lot of money for taxes, and then the owner of the businesses, they know they have to pay taxes. It's okay. So now, as you know, and I know, like, sometimes politicians, they come into the community and ask for votes. They will say whatever. They will promise anything.
Right.
That they can even keep their promises.
Right. Well, so
a lot of it they can. What makes you different from those people? That are you going to keep your promise? That
I'm going to tell you something. I'm not going to make any promises that I can't keep.
Nice.
Period. I'm making people two promises. My job as mayor of this city will be to improve quality of life for our residents.
Great.
And when you say quality of life, it has to do with lowering crimes, fixing the streets if we can. We're not going to fix every street because we can't afford to. It's very expensive to fix roads. They're very expensive to fix. But we can clean it. It doesn't have, it's like my mother used to say, you can wear old clothes, but you don't have to wear dirty old clothes.
That's right.
You can still wear clothes that's old, but it doesn't have to be dirty. It can be clean, old. So I believe in that same way. We don't have to necessarily fix it all new, but we can clean it up. There's no reason for the sidewalks in the city to look the way they do.
Exactly. Every candidate that running, they have like something in mind in the first 30 or 90 days, something that they want to do right away, want to clean that up. So, what about you? What is your like the 5 key priority that when I get elected, this is what I'm gonna do in my first week or in my first month?
I think one of the first things that I'm going to do is deal with this issue of homelessness. We gotta hit by the time the summer comes and the weather gets a little bit better. We have to have this homeless situation under control. We also have to prepare for what we saw, this summer with a lot of the shootings, a lot of the issues with gun violence and stuff like that. I think that's another thing that I'm going to go hard at to resolve those issues, to make sure we have enough resources on the ground to help us with that situation. So go after those landlords is something that because before we even talk about the landlords, when you think about it, is that we only have 2 code enforcement officers in this entire city. 2.
Only 2?
2. 2 people cannot handle a city of 110,000 people and stuff. So one of the first things that we're going to do, we're going to hire more code enforcement people. Find the money somewhere, hire some more people to go out and actually enforce the laws that exist in the city. The third thing is we're going to have to resolve our water issue. We got a problem. The city cannot grow as well as it could because we've got a water problem. And hopefully we can resolve an issue that I'm kind of working on as we speak to help us resolve that issue. And the last one is to make sure that the relationship with the school department becomes a more stable relationship, because right now it's not very stable. There's the battling going on between the mayor and the school committee and vice versa. I believe that I could actually kind of solve that issue as well. So those are the 5 things that I would actually think of grappling right away, so that when the year rolls around, I think we'll be in a bad place.
As a city council, for 12 years, you got your experience how to deal with the city council itself. As a mayor, I know the job of the city council is to control what is the mayor is doing. So from some of the budget, they have to approve it.
Right.
So what is your plan to work with them, to get along with them?
Well, the thing is, we gotta respect each other's position in a sense. The mayor cannot spend money without council approval.
Yeah.
And the council cannot get anything done without the mayor doing the job. So it has to be a balance between the two. But I think the relationship that I actually have established with the council, for the last 12 years, I think will serve me well, will serve us well in the community. Because one of the other things that I'm actually going to do is we're going to put together a community advisory council. I think we had that when I was with Harrington a few years ago. And I think it's important for us to go back and have community input in everything that we do. Mm-hmm. You know, it's easier for you to push anything if you already have the buy-in from the various communities. So, you know, the Haitians, the Cape Verdeans, the Latino community, the white community, the African American community, coming together, let's say on a monthly basis, meeting with the mayor's office to come up with, hey, we're thinking of doing this, we're thinking of doing that, we're thinking of doing this. How do you think that's going to be received by the community? To get real community input.
Yes.
You know, also have another one with the business community, because I think often you have politicians that are out there speaking on behalf of business people, but they've never been business people themselves. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, so I think it's important for us to have a business advisory council.
That's what I was about to ask you. The small businesses, what is the plan to help them?
Well, funny you bring that up, because actually during COVID, this organization came up with a business plan to help small businesses. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, out of that, we created this organization called the Greater Brockton Minority Business Association. Mm-hmm. You know, run by people from the community. As a matter of fact, the president of that body is a Haitian guy, Yves Cajust. Okay. You know, the vice president is a Cape Verdean woman. The mm-hmm. clerk is an African American. Mm-hmm. The treasurer is a Latino guy. Mm-hmm. So it's really diversified business people from this community, because we don't have a minority business in this area organization. Mm-hmm. So we created that during COVID, because one of the things that we had noticed is that there was a lot of help for individuals, but not a lot of help for businesses.
Yes.
And a lot of our businesses are mom and pop businesses, small businesses. So they don't have a lot of residue or a lot of reserves to live off of. Mm-hmm. So they were living day to day to pay rent and keep their business going. So we were able to create this organization to help these businesses apply for loans, apply for grants. But we helped all these businesses apply for and get those grants that were available legally, mm-hmm. that our people never take advantage of because they don't know any better. But one of the things that I found out during that whole thing is the number of businesses that were running, not an illegal business, but unregistered business. Mm. A lot of them were running businesses with their own social security numbers, not with the EIN number. Yeah. None of them had business plans. You know, none of them were registered with the state or the local government. Mm-hmm. You know, so those are the things that we've been helping these businesses. And we have about 150, I think it was like 156 mm-hmm. businesses that are members of or part of this organization that we call the Greater Brockton Minority Business Association.
I know. Let's go into the school system. You from Brockton, you live in Brockton for almost half your life.
47 years.
7 years. So you already know what's up with the school system. So what is the plan that you have to make sure you change that? But I know that like Brockton High School, they have like a reputation that they don't really have like, you know, tough for the kid. They don't really have like what they need, or how can I say that? They don't have a good reputation. So as a mayor, and you form that school, so I know that should be a priority for you. What would you do? What is your plan to make sure you fix that up too?
Well, first of all, Brockton High School is the best high school, urban high school in Massachusetts, in my opinion.
Okay. In your opinion? Okay,
yes,
good.
In my opinion. It's, you want to, I tell everybody this, I even told, I have a young group that I run here in the city through my church. Mm-hmm. I tell them, you want to be a doctor? Brockton High School. You want to be a lawyer? Brockton High School. You want to be a lawyer? A teacher? Engineer? Whatever profession that you can think of, Brockton High School is the place for you. But you want to be a drug dealer? Brockton High School. You want to be a criminal? Brockton High School. So it depends on what you want as a person, what your family wants as a family, mm-hmm. and what we are saying about the place. You know, we don't talk about the fact that we had almost 1,000 kids graduate from Brockton High School this year. Mm-hmm. 70% of whom are going to college.
So you know, bad news always.
You know what I mean?
Go fast and.
So the fact that 2 of the top 2 students are going to Harvard, going to MIT, going to this, going to that, we're not going to talk about that. Yeah, you know, we're going to talk about the 5 bad ones that exist out there, because that's what sells newspapers. Nobody wants to hear the good stuff. Mm-hmm. You know, but first of all, what this city needs the worst way is positive promotion.
Good.
Because let's talk about the 1,000 kids graduating out of Brockton High.
Nice.
Let's talk about that there's almost 5,000 kids in that school. You know, imagine what it's like when you're a teenager, being inside of a school with 5,000 of your colleagues in it. What would you be doing? You know, but we have forgotten that. You know, all we do is talk about the bad, the ugly, and all the other things. We forget that Brockton is a city of 106,000 people in the middle of a bunch of little towns. A bunch of little towns, some of which are smaller than our high school. You know, Avon, there's less people in Avon than there are kids at Brockton High School. You know, but you can't compare Brockton to Avon because you're comparing not apples and oranges, it's apples and watermelons. You know, but we need to be a little. Yes, crime is high in the city. Yes, the perception of crime is also high. Perception of it. It's not necessarily the crime is high, because statistically, crime is down.
Okay.
But the perception of crime is high. And you know what? You can't tell a resident, no, you cannot perceive crime if you feel unsafe. We have issues with these young kids running around in these motorcycles, driving people up the wall. That's got to stop. But it's also a problem that exists in a lot of cities in America. You know, but we're going to do what we can ourselves to make sure that that situation gets helped and worked on. But we also have to talk about the positive stuff that happens in our community every day.
That's good. So now, as a mayor, I know you focus on that. I mean, I really like that, like the positive things. So me as a major person, I always wanna like share the positive things, you know, because that's what I believe. I believe like some media they like that. They wanna like, go up the one that's gonna hurt you. That's the one they're gonna put out. I'm not like that. So as a mayor, would you agree? I mean, with some media to talk. I mean, to sit down with them so that they can promote the city for you.
1,000,000%. 1,000,000%, because we are unfortunate not to have a great deal of media in our community. We don't have Channel 4, Channel 7, Channel 5, Channel 25. They only come to Brockton when there's a shooting, when there's a, you know, somebody ran somebody over or whatever. It's just the negative stuff that they come in to cover. The very positive, you don't see them. You know, our newspaper is almost non-existent nowadays. You know, we don't have the Globe, we don't have the Herald. We have the Enterprise, but Enterprise, it is what it is, you know. So we are not fortunate enough to have the real media, the local media covering local positive stuff within our community. Everything that we do, we beg people to come in and cover things for us, and they often come to cover the negative stuff.
Nice.
You know, and that's what we have to rely on is to basically do what we can to help promote our own city, promote the positiveness, give the residents a sense of security. That quality of life thing that I was talking about is to give them that sense so they themselves can sell the good of Brockton.
All right, great. So now, the question that I'm going to ask you guys, kind of a hard one. It's up to you. You can answer it or not. We know right now immigration is an issue, you know, especially in the black communities, Haitian, Caribbean, Spanish people. So now they kind of hard on them. And then we're not gonna, stop them from doing the job. So we understand if someone is a criminal, you should not be on the street. If you're criminal, you're illegal in here. If you come here illegally, you don't have any paper yet, and you start to do crime, you should go back to your country. That you all in gonna believe that. But when you become a mayor, so how would you how are you gonna work with the police and the ICE, who is on the street right now, to make sure that the one that they pick up on the street is the right one?
We are going to enforce criminal law in our community. Point blank. Criminal law. We're not going to sit here and enforce civil laws. If a criminal, like you said, if somebody comes in here undocumented and decides to go into the way of crime and to commit crime, I'll be the first one to make sure that they get rewarded.
Great.
First one. Because we're here to enforce criminal law. You commit a crime in our city, commit a crime in this community, you're going to pay for it. Plain and simple. Now, am I going to sit here and a person who's here undocumented try to make ends meet, try to do the right thing, try to figure out a way to become legalized? Am I going to get involved in that process of getting them deported? No way. Because I know what it's like being an immigrant. but I'm not going to protect criminals. You know, I tell people this all the time because my business people need me not to do that. My residents need me not to do that. My own family needs me not to do that.
No,
so we're not. So we're not going to sit here.
If you choose to be a criminal, then
if you pick with all the choices you've had in this country. I came here as a teenager. I came here as a teenager. I had choices. I chose not to go about it that way.
Great.
So I'm assuming that everybody else is going to do the same thing. If you say, but they don't speak English. I came here not speaking a lick of English. I didn't speak any English. I came from Angola. We're Portuguese speaking. You know, it wasn't English. So I had to learn English. You know, I went to Brockton High School, lost in that wilderness called Brockton High School. This humongous high school, you know. But I chose not to go about it the criminal way. You know, so those that came and decide that's what they want to do, you know what? They're responsible for their own ending, in the sense. So I'm not going to do that. But the point is that we're not going to sit here. One of the things that I was very vocal about is not frightening people. ICE is not here banging on every door. I haven't seen them here. We're an immigrant center. When was the last time ICE was here? Never.
Okay.
You know, they're not coming knocking on doors that they know that people are coming here for services and for things like that. So I want to encourage my community to keep coming. You know, during the whole first couple months of the Trump administration, people were being advised not to send their kids to school because of the fear of ICE. Don't go to work because of the fear of ICE. And I said, I went to the church right here, I made some announcements. I went on television, local cable, and did a couple programs and said, let me tell you something. ICE is looking for criminal undocumented individuals or criminal green card holders or whatever, immigrants. By you not sending your kid to school, you're committing a crime. Where you are not in trouble because you're just here undocumented or you're just here on a green card, but by you not sending your child to school, you're committing a crime against that human being, your child. Now all of a sudden you go from being, I have nothing to worry about, to now you better worry about because you just committed a crime. When you don't go to work, if you happen to get picked up by ICE, how do you pay a lawyer to help you get out of that system if you don't have a job? So why would you not go to work? Why would you not send your kid to school and put yourself in a predicament where you were not part of the problem, but now you become part of the problem? You know, and that's what I think we need to do is educate our people, stay vigilant, know the right places. If you and I live together in the same house, I know you're a criminal. Well, let me put it on me. You know I'm a criminal.
It's all right. It's all right. Just an example.
Well, I'm a criminal person. I committed God knows what crime. You're here undocumented, and you chose to live with me in my house. It's a matter of time before I might get picked up. But if you continue to live in my household, you might be a collateral pickup. So people need to be smart about it and say, wait a minute. You are a criminal. You just did God knows how many years in prison because of what you did. I have to make a choice. If we continue to live in the same household, there's a very good chance when they come looking for me that they might grab you as well. So you have to make a choice. You don't decide.
Let's go back into business. We talk about it a little bit because I'm really concerned about it because in this community, so basically it's black-owned business that we have here, but I heard that it's kind of tough in here when you're trying to open a business in Brockton to get a license to operate, and because of that, the city lost a lot of businesses. So what would you do as a mayor to make sure you make the system go faster and for people to get a license to open a business in here?
Well, the reason why I said I was going to put together the business advisory group is to help specifically with that, to deal with that. So that we hear directly from the business owners to know what's going on with prospective businesses and things like that. But more immediately is that we don't have a smooth process for you to get a business license. We don't have, for instance, if you're a developer, you want to develop a building or something like that, we don't have a smooth process. We'll send you to this guy to talk to about this. And then that guy sends you to this guy. And then the guy will send you to this guy and this guy. And then what this guy might tell you is contrary to what this guy told you in the very beginning. So then you got to go back to the same guy, and it starts that cycle all over again.
Why is it like that?
because we don't have, like we don't sit, like one of the things that I'd like to do is, for instance, you want to come in and you want to pitch a business in the community, a development in the community. Is to have the fire department sit here, the building department sit there, the planning department sit here, so that you hear the same things or the same questions that you might get answered the same way. So that you take your marching orders to say, I got to do this, 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 I got to do that. It should not be, well, go talk to planning up here. And then planning will send you, go talk to building up this way. Or then go talk to the fire department up here. Because whatever this one is saying might not be understood by this other department. That already can, if you're sitting across the same table, then you can have one discussion versus 20 different discussions all over the place. Because I think that's one of the things that kind of creates this red tape system that we have in the city, where it takes so long. Because if I have to schedule an appointment with you for this week, and I get an appointment with that guy next week, and that guy the following week, and that guy the next week, a month has gone by before you can get your license. So the idea is to sit them like this across the table, so that somebody comes in and makes the pitch and understands exactly where they stand. Not all businesses are good businesses. We got some crooked businesses out there that try to take advantage of the community. So it's important for us to hear that stuff all across the board, so that we tell you no right off the bat. It's no for everybody. But at least there would be no today, not no next month. Okay. So the idea is to make it as smooth as possible, so that people feel that they got the ears of the people that they need to hear, from. And make those decisions right away.
So now we know the Asian community going to watch this interview, and we got a bunch of them in here. You know that. I think that, like, if you have this Asian community behind you, you have a good chance to win the election. And you know that, right? So, what can you say to make the Asian that believe that you are the right choice for them?
Well, let me put it to you this way: I might not be Haitian by nature. Because sometimes it's impossible for somebody to be from Cape Verde and from Haiti at the same time. But I know what Haiti is like. And how do I know that? I've lived with Haitians basically all my adult life in this community. I'm friends with them. I understand their businesses. I understand their community. We work side by side on issues that affect our community. We have been sued together. We have fought these suits together and won those suits. And as we had talked about earlier today, I see that as an extension of my own community. You might be from Haiti, but you might be from North Haiti. You have no idea what goes on in South Haiti.
That's true. That's a fact.
The same thing with me being Cape Verdean. I might be from Fogo and I have no idea what goes on in San Vicente.
Yeah, that's a fact.
So it's impossible for somebody to be so knowledgeable about the entire thing, because you can't be from Brockton, Boston, Dorchester, Roxbury all at once. You have to pick one that you're from. So although, like I said, I'm not Haitian, but I understand the Haitian community.
Great.
I understand the issues within the Haitian community, because the issues of the Haitian community, as I said earlier, is the fact that your Creole is from French and mine is from Portuguese.
But as far as Creole?
Huh?
You say something in Creole?
I can say it in French. Because I actually, when I grew up in Angola, French was the second language of Angola because of our proximity to Congo. Okay. When I came here, I lost that because I had to pick up English. Yes. So it was either learn Spanish so that you can speak some Spanish and survive in school, and then continue within the communities. But it's important for us to understand that, again, you cannot be from Italy, Ireland, Portugal, Haiti, Cape Verde, or the United States all at once. But you need to understand what those countries go through, or what those people are going through, or the struggles that are actually taking place in Haiti, and some of the suffering that I see our people going through. Because I say our people, because they're my people as well.
Good. All right, so let's wrap it up. So you got the voters watching this interview. So what is the last word that you have for the voters?
Well, I think you got to look at it this way, and I've said this many, many, many times. Brockton is a business. It's a $618 million business with almost 5,000 employees. a diverse population with about 106,000 folks living in the city. And the question comes back to, who do you want to run this business for you? You, the residents of this city, are the owners of this business. So who do you want to run your business? Do you want somebody that has no experience, have never supervised a person in their lives, who have never been in the mayor's office other than maybe saying hello, goodbye type of thing, has never really done or been in positions of organizing a community like we have here, that have put together a budget to know what it's like to pay employees, and struggling sometimes to pay those employees because we rely on sources and resources to come from the outside? Or do you want someone that actually has done those things that I've said, those questions that I had are things that I've done. I came to this country as a teenager, not speaking a lick of English, did pretty well in school, graduated from college, went on to serve in the United States military, and have done all the things that I stated that I did. Supervise people, run businesses, organize the community, and actually have served as the mayor for 7 months in this community. In a tough situation, when I came in, I took over a mayor's office that wasn't mine to begin with. It was a spot that I found, organized in a way it was organized, and I stepped right in and did a job that a lot of people in city government actually called for me to go back to City Hall to become the mayor again. So I count on the communities to support and see what actually has been done and understand what needs to be done as a community. As I said earlier, I'm not making any promises. The only promises that I'm making is the promise that I want from my family and I want from my friends, and that's something that I'm going to do for this community.
Date.
All right, great.
Election date.
And the election date?
September 16th. We're about 2.5 weeks away from September 16th, because we have a primary on September 16th, Tuesday, September 16th.
All right, so after you're elected, I hope we have a follow-up
We will.
interview.
We will.
You know?
We'll be blood buddies.
Okay, so that we can keep tracking the progress of your office, and I wish you the best.
Yeah.
And I know, as I can see that in you're a people person.
Yeah.
You will do good, man.
Yeah.
Thank you
No
for your
promises, but
Alright.
we'll do it together.
Ok, nous avons avec nous Moises, Moises Rodrigues, qui est candidat pour poste magistrat dans Brockton. Nous avons make sure que nous faisons chita avec lui. Qu'on ait 8 personnes qui ont pour ça, ou bien qui attendent, ou attendent l'interview, et ou après ça bon pour vous, et puis ou aller choisir ça qui est bon pour vous. Moi-même, pas qu'à dire qui est pour voter, choisir un monde. I can tell you who to vote for. You know, I made the interview with him. You hear him. So if you feel like he's the right choice for you, just go and vote for him. One thing you don't have to do, don't say I'm not gonna vote. You have to vote, and it's very important. This year especially, this election is very, very important for all of us. You need to vote. See you next time. Bye.